Hi folks, welcome to this week's Sunday Catechism, where we are on to question 10. Now let me just tell you where I am. I'm in the Presbytery Hall in the Free Church offices building, the Edinburgh Theological Seminary building. A place I know very well, been to many presbytery meetings here. This amazing painting of the First General Assembly of the Free Church is a historic and unique painting, and it's always good to be back in here and to think about the saints who are past and think about what's happening now. But we are going to look at this particular question, question 10. So let's read that. How did God create man? God created man, male and female, after his own image, in knowledge, righteousness, and holiness, with rule over the creatures. God created man, male and female, after his own image, in knowledge, righteousness, and holiness, with rule over the creatures. Now, of course, the Catechism in its scripture proof uses Genesis 1, 26 to 28, which I think we should read because it is so important. And we'll read, let me just read verse 26. Then God said, "Let us make mankind in our image and our likeness, so that they may rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, over the livestock and all the wild animals, and over all the creatures that move along the ground." So God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God he created them, male and female he created them. God blessed them and said, "Be fruitful and increase in number, fill the earth and subdue it. Rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, and over every living creature that moves on the ground." And then in Colossians chapter 3 and verse 10, which we've just been looking at in Coffee and Colossians. And again, it just sums it up very nicely. I think it does anyway. Colossians 3 verse 10. You've put on the new self, which is being renewed in knowledge in the image of its creator. That's the new man, if you like, the new humanity. And then Ephesians 4 and verse 24, which says this: to put on the new self, created to be like God in true righteousness and holiness. So this question is so important. I think, by the way, this is why the Catechism should be taught to all our children. Because what is a human being? Where people today ask, what is male, what is female? Well, man, as in mankind, as in humanity, is male and female. There are not 101 genders. After his own image, we're made in the image of God. Not that we physically look like God, because God doesn't have a body. But in knowledge, righteousness, and holiness, we have an awareness and a knowledge of God and of righteousness of what is right and holiness of what is good. Now, we've fallen from that, so that's why it needs to be redone. But all human beings are made in the image of God, male and female. Me in here, the drunk out on the street, the rich person in his castle, the poor person begging. All of us are made in the image of God. The baby in the womb is made in the image of God. The elderly person who's very sick is made in the image of God. The drug dealer and the drug addict are both made in the image of God. That image can become distorted, and it often does. And then it adds on with this, with rule over the creatures. Now, we don't particularly like this, but this is what we are meant to do. We are meant to rule over the creatures in the creation. It's why we farm, it's why we hunt, it's why we produce crops, it's why we develop cities. I'm a little bit concerned that in our current context that you'll find that there are people who think, well, male and female, forget that. Let's just all be part of this one amorphous nature with 100 genders, and who's to say that the cockroach is any more important than a human being, and so on. But I think that the Bible's order in creation and society of God, the angels, then, and as it says in Psalm 8, humanity made just a little lower than the angels, than the animals and so on. I think that works very well. I think it's true. That's why it works very well. So, we've got an answer to the question, what is a human being? A human being is someone who's created in the image of God, male and female, in knowledge, righteousness, and holiness, with rule over the creatures. Get that, and a lot of today's issues are answered. See, I told you the catechism was right up to date. God bless you, and hopefully see you next Sunday, and join us tomorrow for Coffee and Colossians, which I think will also be in this room. Bye.